When I first started to come around to the church, I was very broken, very lost, was deep into an addiction of alcohol. I mean, if I look back at it now, I often wonder why I ever came to the church, you know?
When I first started coming to this church, I just needed to be surrounded by people that could possibly just breathe life into me. God nudged me to go down to the front to pray, and I went to life group that night, and it was all like door after door was open after that night.
Really, the turning point was when I went to life group, and I had some really incredible people in that life group who saw what we are today in the brokenness. They had a great way of being able to say, the season that you're in now is not the season that you'll be in. The church had just sent a short-term missions team that was all women to Thailand. And Lisa Seaton had come back and she had told me, you really need to start praying about this and seeing if this is something that is for you. The following year I went, and the moment I stepped foot on Zoe grounds, I knew right then in that moment that was home. The following year, she went for the first year. You know, it was something that I had talked about for over a year, and she got to experience it for the first time. And then we've gone back multiple times.
I knew that there was something really special about this country and about these children. Just looking into their faces, I knew that, you know, this is what God's calling me to do. So the second time that we went is when we really made the decision to go and to make that a long-term decision.
We are planning on uprooting our lives. We've been called to the mission field in northern Thailand, working with an organization called Zoe International Ministries. And Zoe International is a multi-facet organization that reaches people with the gospel in northern Thailand and also combats human trafficking of children. So to say that not only 6 years later am I sober, I am moving across the world to a third world country to go and preach the gospel to people who have never heard it. To me, that is absolutely mind-blowing, but it's also the ultimate sign of what God can do when you give him the opportunity. You know, before that, I didn't know what our calling was. I didn't know what my calling, my purpose was, what my passions were. So we're just doing what God has placed on our hearts to do. We're going where he's called us to go to reach the people he has placed so deep in our hearts. But I always encourage people and I always challenge people to discover what it is that God has placed on your heart. And there's no greater joy that I've ever experienced than being able to be obedient to that.